That's right, this series was made in Texas and not in any of those second-rate states. Hello, this is Jeff Smith, the guy who thought up Stella B, and I am here with almost the entire Busted League to do an audio commentary on a favorite of cast and crew alike. This is episode 3, Back and There Again. And with me are...
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Tiner, and I played Stella B.
This is Ben Bryant. I play Doc.
Laura Jennings. I play Karen.
Alexis Neighbors. I played Becky.
I'm Stephanie Jackson. In this episode, I was Kat. I was also the co-producer, assistant director, script person.
And I'm Joey Dietz, who played Longbox Larry.
So this episode begins with this Nerd Match Now dating service stuff. And anytime you see Dan there in his apartment, that was literally just Dan and I. I can't remember why Stephanie couldn't be there that day, but it was just me with a camera and Dan sitting at his kitchen table.
Is that Dan's actual laptop?
I believe it was. Yeah. So, verisimilitude is the word we thrive on. So with these all these video dating things were basically Stephanie just recruited these ladies. I certainly didn't audition any of them. She just said, "Come on over on a Thursday night," and we filmed all of it in Stephanie's apartment.
Yep, I said, "Everybody come over, or we'll just do it."
The lovely Kelsey Cruz, who was just in. Here's the amazing Lauren Hearn.
Hey, Lauren. She and
so
I lived in the
funny.
same complex at the time, so she just walked over, did her little thing, and went home.
Right.
Lauren did a short film with me a couple of years after this. She's great. She's awesome.
But don't expect to stay the night. That's not how we do it.
Sidekick, right?
And unfortunately, the wonderful Dan Tuttle could not be with us this evening. He's indisposed.
Oh, I forgot I wore this blonde wig.
Oh yeah, that's my wig.
Oh, there's Stephanie.
It's my Barbie wig.
That is actually a wig of mine, and I remember Stephanie was like, "I'm gonna wear the wig." It looks great.
I had borrowed it for a Barbie sketch.
Yes.
Previous to this, and then I was like, "Oh, look, I could be Barbie again." I felt like it was fitting for Kat.
So technically, Stephanie was the second person cast in the show because I'd already written the script and I was speaking to Laura and Stephanie. We interacted a couple of times. It's like, oh yeah, Stephanie needs to play Kat. So this is, of course, based on that YouTube girl who was crying about
Just
Kat.
loves all the kittens.
Oh, Sheila, I forgot that Sheila did this.
I did.
Stephanie just recruited these folks, but I'd seen Sheila in a couple of shows. She is fantastic.
On dozens of different planets. Give me a break.
Lacey.
No, I forgot we put Lacey on the floor because we were running out of spots in my apartment.
And she's hugging that pillow.
Yeah.
Kills me.
And she's wearing her homemade psych.
Oh, God, the Cannibal
ring.
Holocaust. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. That's a horrible line,
Oh,
but
no.
it's very funny.
That's why.
And I like when, she hasn't done it yet, but she squeezes the Wookiee and it goes.
Yeah.
It does.
I don't
It's
even.
my favorite thing about that Wookiee. I
I
still
know, you're like, oh yes.
Also
Where did that Wookiee
foreshadowing.
come from? Where did
you
that
even tell me
Wookiee
it
come
was
from?
going to be that?
I
don't
guess
remember
somebody
knowing.
really great gave it to me as a present. I don't know. Because it was soft and fluffy and it grows. There was.
Oh, I love Dan. I miss Dan.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I wonder if he gets folks coming up to him on the street asking him to say Shaka Zulu.
I know. I love his hold the phone.
And this little bit was at Grace's house. I was desperately trying to get one of my artist friends to let me come in and shoot at their drawing board. So I basically wanted to show Doc at work, but I just never could work it out scheduling wise.
Doc, click on the link I just sent you.
Doc really loves Siamese cats, apparently.
I was gonna
Yes,
say,
he does.
Yeah.
I wish I had paid a little more attention to what was showing in the background.
My sister has a thing for Siamese cats, and so do I. And she has about 4 bazillion little Siamese
Also,
cats.
is that Grace and David behind his head too?
Yeah.
There's a
Wait.
picture of them.
Oh no, that's David's parents.
Oh,
Oh, just wait. When we get into the kitchen later on, it's all the family photos are all over.
Yeah, like my nephew is in a little frog outfit, and
Because compared to the other Looney Tunes on this site, Karen is the belle of the ball.
At least that artwork looks kind of cool. That looks like something Doc might have pulled. But yeah,
that's actually my sister. That's a picture of my sister from the back that a guy sketched of her.
Cool.
Oh, you did that. Good job.
Nice. So real quick, let's talk about the amazing music of Andy Waldron. This is actually
So
a,
good.
it's actually a
So
pretty light
good.
episode for Andy's music, but this theme tune, he and I went back and forth on a few different versions. But man, to me, Andy's music is one of the things that really elevates the show.
So
just-
good.
Oh yeah, that was Bill's apartment. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every photo behind Doc says to Bill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is nom de plume.
Right.
Oh, that was my office. Yeah.
Doc likes Siamese cats and guys named Bill.
This conceit of Stella talking directly to the camera was something that was sort of in vogue at the time. Felicia Day did it in The Guild, and it seemed like a good way to connect the audience to the character. I also like the idea of Stella being an unreliable narrator, so that if I ever wanted to do something really weird, I could always chalk it up to the story being told from Stella's perspective. In the end, though, it never really seemed all that organic to me, and wasn't really something that fit my style, so I abandoned it after this. I did have Stella doing some narration in episode 5, but this was the last time she actually addressed the camera directly.
Yeah. It kind of feels like it could have been one of those Aaron Sorkin walkie-talkie moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's she bringing? That director guy, Lance something? The one who's making that fan film.
Lance Diver.
Is he cute? He must be cute. Becky is so picky.
He's adorable.
How do you know him?
He came to me a couple of years ago about doing.
So this
I would just like to point out that these were the easiest shoots for me because I actually lived at the Hotel Love Run there.
That's right.
I just woke up and went downstairs. It's nice.
So this is right. This was June 16th and 17th, 2012. And we had the now, Laura, was your sister out of town? I don't remember them being there at all.
I think they went out of town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this soy sauce.
This is a
Yeah,
Soy
the
sauce.
soy sauce. Spoiler.
This episode brought to you by Kiko Man.
right.
Yeah.
This is a great example of something. Whereas this joke was in the script, but all the later stuff where you guys had fun with the soy sauce was just stuff we came up with on the fly.
And then Jocelyn putting it on the popcorn.
Clutch.
And I would like to point out that I still have those bowls, those
Oh,
red bowls. They're in my cabin.
Here's where it would have benefited us to have a lighting setup, because every time somebody walks in this door, the outside light blows it out, and everybody goes dark until the door shuts. That's something I would not do the same today. But the only reason we were able to do as much work as we did was we didn't have lighting setups, and
But we did have the Newport Jazz Festival.
There you go.
My brother-in-law is a musician.
And the other way, so we had we had 2 days to shoot this, and I knew the only way we were going to get it done is if I just kind of simplified the camera work. So there's a lot of scenes where I ordinarily would have gone in for coverage and close-ups and things, but I just left in these masters or 2 shots, and stuff like that. It all ended up working out just fine. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel like it's all in master shots. So.
I think that's my favorite. She better not be a hooker.
Yeah. And here you come stomping in. This is hilarious.
I just love how everybody thought he brought a hooker.
Yeah, that's
just like getting to say hooker on camera.
Right.
Our faces.
I know.
Don't be silly, Paul. Nobody thinks that. So where did you meet her?
So, Jennifer Richmond. Jen and I were both involved in a pretty ambitious Doctor Who fan film series in 2009. She was playing the companion, and I was kind of a staff writer. I wrote the second episode, which they shot but never released. It was supposed to be a whole series of like 13 episodes, but only the first one got finished and posted. The episode I wrote, they were just finishing it up when the producer/lead actor had some kind of catastrophic computer crash. The whole thing imploded rather spectacularly not long after that, and honestly, this experience was one of the things that led me to do Stella B. But through all this, Jennifer and I really bonded, and I knew that I wanted to write a part for her in Stella because I was just so impressed with her work on the Doctor Who show. She lives in Austin, about a 4-hour drive, so it was a big deal for her to come up to Dallas to work for 2 days for free. But she was game, and she was fantastic, as I knew she would be. So that's why it's an in-joke that Doc recognizes her from a Doctor Who fan film.
She was fun to work with.
She was so funny.
Well, and I think so. You just said it, right? Like they filmed but didn't release. That's such a common thing, and just the fact that you managed to finish a whole season of this web series,
yes,
is so impressive, really, truly. And they're not like short episodes either. They're like legit, like
like
long.
sitcom.
Okay, but the way Laura shook.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite thing ever. Laura shaking the sauce off.
Feeling person that she's like.
Yeah.
Well, I had to eat a soy sauce chip like 6 times. It was salty.
Well, that's very sweet of you to say, Jocelyn. I got pretty good stick-to-itiveness. If I start something, I can usually finish it.
We used to pick 6 books a month, and when each new issue came out,
I like how we're all explaining to her the Busted League. I thought that was a clever way to do it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'd seen done in other shows, and I thought, well, that's a good way to get a lot of exposition across.
Yeah.
Without it just being like
boring.
Talking
yeah. Or talking heads kind of thing. It's great.
It just kind of stuck. Because, everybody's busted in one way or another. That's just life.
Luckily for me, Jen had some family in town that she could stay with, so I didn't have to pay her hotel bill. Although I would have if that's what it took.
Besides, I am sure I would remember a big strapping boy like you.
I love these places.
Hey now.
Laura.
I love that Jocelyn moment where we're just like eyeballing her.
Right.
Y'all gives the stink eye like nobody else.
Yeah.
I love.
We were all real good at it.
I love that only Paul and Longbox Larry care about what's actually happening.
Yes.
I just want you to know that I have one of those beer bottles still. It was my prop that I took and saved. It's up on with all my other memorabilia from stuff I've worked on. I have one of those Bulldog beers.
That's nice.
Bulldog beer.
They taste like Hitler.
Hitler.
I have all of my costumes. They were just my clothes.
Yeah.
Same.
I still own the shirt I wear in this episode, but I think I've gotten rid of like 5 of the shirts I've seen so far in this episode.
Actually, yeah,
like
that's
to the opening
fair.
credits.
That's fair. I think I KonMari'd my closet and got rid of several shirts, but
I think I only have 1 or 2 of mine left.
Yeah, apparently I was really into feather earrings then.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You were.
I know it. She's casing the joint.
Whoa, girl, that's a lot of fun.
You pulled them nicely. You pulled them off.
Yep, there they are. There's those feather earrings.
You were one of the few people I knew that could pull them off. Like, I bought a pair because they were big at the time, and I never actually wore them because every time I put them on, I was like, no, this doesn't work.
And there's there's my nephew on the refrigerator.
Who's like, how old now? Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's gonna be like 14.
I know.
I think Papa John should have given us some promotional money for all the pizza boxes we're showing.
Or Mrs. Bears. That's a very blatant label right there.
Well,
Also, Minute Maid.
Yeah.
Rope this filly.
Karen's awesome. And sooner or later, some other guy's going to notice. You need to act before that guy does.
Actually, some new information has come to light, and I'm thinking of making...
Coming up is the Ben Bryant moment that makes my wife laugh every single time. And that's this.
Ira.
That is totally Jack Lemmon from The Great Race that I'm channeling there.
Here's where I explain why the decor doesn't look comic booky in Karen's house, because Grace's house.
So how's it going? Lance-wise, I mean.
Remember, we had to make sure we changed.
Now we get to eye the boys.
Right. So that's some original Terry Moore Strangers in Paradise artwork in the background there. The one on the left I own. The one on the right is owned by Jeremy from Titan. And the one in the middle that Jocelyn's blocking with her head is a print that I own. It's a very nice head. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Jeez, Alexis, you are really tan in this, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know. And look at all my brown hair. I look so young then.
So let's talk about Nick Caldwell for a second. How much do you gotta love this guy? He was so good. Like I said, he was the only one that auditioned. He came in, he nailed this character. And I mean, he was always supposed to be the kind of the villain, but boy, is he a dick in this episode.
Oh, his arrogance and like skeeziness, it was like on point.
But he was such a nice guy, like so nice to work with, and then he was such a dick on film.
You save it for the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely learned a lesson.
So much like Justin Theroux, it's unnerving.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
I was going to say Seth MacFarlane's younger brother.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned a lesson here, never to have two guys drinking beer in a scene again, because trying to match where their hands were and when they were drinking.
Continuity.
So I don't know if my husband has ever actually seen any of these. I think we watched the first one together when we first started dating, but I don't think he's actually ever seen the rest of these. So this is
whose fault is that, Alexis?
I know.
You should show him.
I think I will. Now that it's been 10 years, I'm like, oh, we should totally go back and watch this.
Yeah, this popped up in just random pictures.
He's like, that chick. And I'm like so into him.
Random pictures popped up on Facebook memories for me, not like right before Jeff reached out to us, and I was like, it has not been 10 years. Has it been 10 years? That's wrong.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, we all kind of lost two, but yeah.
It's only been like 8.
Yeah, the whole pandemic thing really throws off my memory of how long ago anything was.
Yeah.
Which is weird because...
Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, it's just weird because in the world of the show, I get this because they always talk about in-person social networking. It's like, how would these guys have lived through the pandemic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'd have been rough. It'd have been real rough.
Real rough. I might have been fine. I might have been fine because I was cosplaying, and it was like, I mean, I could have just lived off social media, technically.
Yeah.
I guess that's.
You were saying, Joey?
So Becky would have started an OnlyFans, is what you're saying.
Oh. Well, at the end of.
I mean, Becky, she might have. Well, yeah, she was like she was all into herself and like too badass for everybody else in her own mind, and so of course she would have had an OnlyFans.
So I've got a pitch for you, and hear me out. Do you have anybody doing a making of doc for the DVD? Interviews and behind the scenes stuff? Because I could totally do that for you. I have 2 years of Film is Lit at SMU, and I shot some B-roll stuff for that web feature about Neil Gaiman signing at Big Star Comics last year. It was mostly crowd stuff, but still, it was really...
So you've never actually made a documentary before?
Not...
Do you have anything I could look at?
Not really, no. But I guarantee you will not find anybody more enthusiastic about this project than me. What do you got to lose?
So this bit where Nick says, says to Dan, do you have anything I could look at? Nick actually said that to me in the audition.
Name it.
He was like, well, I was like, I haven't made any kind of film like this before. He's like, do you have anything I could look at? And I was like, well, no. He was like, okay, I'll do it anyway. So, as you know, I was not above taking things that happened in real life and sticking them into scripts.
You could do Power Girl,
I find it interesting that we all kind of give Savannah grief for possibly being a hooker when everybody in the cast is hustling so hard the whole episode.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm like, you should do this. Oh my God, it's really not that big of a deal, but like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, you're pimping her out.
And Paul is like, hey, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this.
Yeah. That's funny. I never really thought of it in that way before. That's so funny.
Oh yeah, we all ran her off.
Big money hustlers.
And Chris Taylor, I love this guy. Chris was.
I miss Chris.
To shoot in that room.
Yeah, that was
such a tiny room.
I was like in between the bed and the wall, trying to be out of the shot.
Right.
That is such a small room in her house for the size of that house. And weren't you like, yeah, you were up behind the bed or something?
Yeah, like
somebody was tucked behind the bed.
Didn't I like hook the boom mic over the ceiling fan and was like holding it with one hand? Because there was not enough room for me to have two arms up in the air.
Because between you guys standing in like the only open space that wasn't in the shot, there was no place else for me to be. So I was literally like half on the bed, half in between the wall.
Right. Yeah, it was tight. It was tight. The other thing that's weird about the episode, if you really pay attention, is what time of day is it? Because
all times of day, Jeff, because we shot for 2 days.
Right.
I said it was at night, but it must be night in Alaska.
It's supposed,
clearly daytime.
It's supposed to be in the evening, like around 6 o'clock, because you figure everybody's been to work and then they've come to the party after work. But it's really bright outside anytime.
Summer hours. Summer hours.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't get dark till 9.
Yeah.
Boy, I did not
because
miss
then
that
you had to
office at
you
all.
insisted on getting that shot of her walking around. Sorry, I'm just remembering being stuck like behind the bed.
You know that.
This room,
but it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm down there in between the bed and the wall.
I remember going up there and checking on you guys, and Stephanie was behind me.
I was like all the way on the floor in that shot, I think, because I think I had been like half laying on the bed for the rest of it.
Yeah, I've got an outtake where I can see your little feet sort of poking out. This room where Chris is, Chris Taylor playing her publisher, that was where at Joey's work. And
that's my actual office at the time.
We always had so little time to like sort of try to dress these sets. And usually I can let it go, but the painting behind Chris really bugs me. It's like this flowery Monet scene, and I really wished I just brought a poster of some comic book to hang. Where that,
maybe he's a collector
of Thomas Kincaid.
Yes.
Well, so funny thing is even if we had tried, we wouldn't have been able to take it down because it was cemented to the wall, which we didn't realize until we went to move out of that office and realized that someone had used contractor paste and attached it to the wall.
Well, then I won't stress about that anymore, Joey.
Yeah, it was not going to come down.
I just realized that my sister's painting of her back was in that room, and earlier it was on Doc's desk.
Don't tell
Continuity!
Sorry.
Don't mention it during the commentary.
I've never seen it.
So here's where we can talk about the guy with the lawnmower.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
The next door neighbor mowed his lawn, his 20 feet by 15-foot yard for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was insane making.
Our stank faces. I mean, we're just back there judging so hard.
I mean, Becky's slightly into it, but my goodness, Laura, you just somebody peed in your post toasties hard.
She was talking to Doc. Karen didn't like that.
Here's more family tchotchkes on the wall.
Hey, that was my mom. That was a picture of my mom in the background.
Well, I just always justified it that Karen has a big family. She's got a big extended family.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about a role in my next production.
Look at that.
Well,
Shame. The villains are hooking up.
Marketable.
And, Alexis also has an excellent stink face here in a sec.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see 70 feet. Look, you can see 70 feet.
There I am.
Poking out.
Sad Stella.
You can only see it if you're really looking for it. But just giving away all the secrets here.
That's right. That's what these things are for, right?
Yeah.
Easter
also,
eggs.
the glamorous life of a script supervisor who gets to lay.
I would like to point out that that is an antique bed. Belonged to my grandmother.
Oh, nice.
On a Friday afternoon.
More Siamese.
There was more of my sister's cats. Yes.
Yeah, and here Doc says something about it being it says something about it being the afternoon. And I just remember thinking, man, if anybody's really paying attention, what time of day this is happening is just wackadoo. So.
Can we just admire Joey's shirt for a moment?
I missed that shirt.
I love that shirt. Perfect for long box Larry.
The great thing about it, it's pretty easily replaceable, I bet.
Yeah, true.
Would not have made it any better.
I don't even know why I'm talking to you.
Look, what do I always say about stuff like this?
The doing is its own reward.
Right. The thing is, you talk to any famous person.
We didn't really mention it, but I always enjoyed Dan's choice of T-shirt, and I don't know if those came from you, Jeff, or if he brought those.
Yes, Jeff made those.
Yes.
A couple of times I did. Sometimes they were just Dan's shirts.
I've still got my Bitter Technopolis shirt.
Do you?
Oh, cool.
That's cool. Now Dan wears one in episode 5 called "There Is No," that says "There Is No Spoon," and I definitely had that one made for him because I wanted him to wear that.
I like the Chicks Dig Me shirt.
Right.
That was my favorite.
Now, see, that's the funny thing about that is I didn't create that shirt. The guy that Paul is based on was a old buddy of mine also named Paul, and he would always wear this T-shirt that said "Chicks Hate Me." I wish you guys could meet the inspiration for Paul because you would be astonished at how much Dan is like him.
Buddy.
Looking hug.
And dozens of Stella Doc shippers go insane.
My favorite
totally
scene.
forgot.
I love this.
Oh my God. And I love that
Becky's so nosy.
he comes out.
Cutting edge special effects.
Yep.
I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, my buddy Graham in the UK put that cloud of dust in there for me.
Eddie, who is now Ashes. Yeah.
I just thought that I love random humor, and I thought that was so funny.
That's definitely.
I remember like having the hardest time finding that cookie jar.
It was his favorite cookie jar.
Trying to find one that would work.
That would also look like an urn.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
How did Eddie die? Did we know how Eddie died?
No, just the episode 1 says it was under mysterious circumstances.
Mr. McGuffin killed him.
Yeah, exactly. We never went any deeper than that.
He was chasing the 39 steps.
Right.
Yes, best adapted screenplay, my favorite one of the night. And look,
So I was always nervous about using any of this Oscar footage, but there was a couple of times when I just kind of had to show, you know, there's a thing called fair use where you supposedly you can use up to like 22 seconds of something without being sued over it. So I always kept the actual Oscar clips super short.
I mean, it's not like you were grossly profiting off of it anyway. So,
right.
You know.
Oh, Doc's got your number. That was what that look said.
Man, apparently all of us were just hungry.
Yeah, 10 years later, this show is still massively in the hole. So. Well, that's what you do at a party, Alexis. You eat and you drink.
We're just like hungry and thirsty, just like perusing the whole place, just like, where's the food at?
Because you're all mooching off of Karen's food because she's the rich one.
The finger gesture is wholeheartedly stolen from a friend of mine's now ex-wife.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's a great gesture.
Yeah.
just doing a regular Midwestern accent for that movie.
Because nobody talks.
I love the delivery, Ben.
Okay, fine, whatever. I'm so over this.
The subtitles say, Paul, you're taming me, huh?
Oh, Paul's pretty tamed as is.
And I mean, you know, as much as I am happy with this script, you know, her motivation here is a little weird. Would anyone actually do this? Probably not. You know, go into
but it's TV. It's drama.
Yeah, it's you know, it's comedy.
Oh, I don't know. I know some actors that are real big into living their parts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I bought it.
Okay, that's good. That makes me feel better.
Method actors.
Alexis trying to get her head in there.
Trying to see.
Oh my gosh, is it hard trying to get all of these characters into one frame at the same time?
Spoiler, yes.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, I felt so bad. Look how sad.
Look at his face.
Oh.
Poor Paul.
If she calls a cab, it would be a Lyft today or a.
Okay, but can we just take a moment and appreciate Jocelyn's butterfly clip?
I do still have that clip.
Fantastic.
It's too pretty to Con-Marie, that clip.
Poor Joey, what I missed.
Just holding the soy sauce.
When Alexis slams the door, if you look carefully there's a little plant stand behind her that's got a camera battery sitting on it. There's a couple of spots in this episode where I can see camera batteries.
Oh no.
Oh, I was livid.
Yeah.
I mean, Becky was livid.
But the Newport Jazz Festival lives.
Yes.
Oh, and Joey's about to swig. Your stomach must have hurt so bad.
I don't know why I never noticed that until just now.
I was not feeling great the next day. I was.
You really took one for the team, Joey.
Oh my god. Poor Dan. He's just so downtrodden in this episode.
I know.
You just want to hug him.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a crazy way to find a partner.
Oh, Karen got called out for being on dating site.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's like you're reading a shampoo bottle in the bathroom.
And he steals it. There
This is the weirdest Lord of the Rings party we have.
Oh, you know what I remember about this scene was Stephanie had that brilliant idea of stacking up all the cups and then unloading the cups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful bowl cup acting.
I thought that was so funny, and it took me forever though because I was like, I can't say my lines and juggle all my stuff. But it was so funny. You're like, what if you start unstacking them? I'm like,
yes.
It just gets
It's just crazy.
Jocelyn, this is some of my favorite work of yours on this.
Yes, she's so adorable.
To what they're saying. It was so hard not to. I had to be, you know, just story-wise, I had to be careful how much I cut to that. But it was all so funny and so heartfelt.
Aww.
I know, she's so cute.
And here's just the worst thing that can happen to a guy. Asks a woman out and she laughs.
Oops.
But she actually does think he's kidding at first.
Okay.
There it comes.
And unload.
Now notice there's no beer bottle in that bowl, but there will be in a second.
And this is what she just goes from her own house.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you did this, Laura.
Ever the clown.
Yep.
I love watching Ben's face because he's just like, I just poured my heart out to you.
Magically, there's a beer bottle there.
There it is.
There you go.
And I love the tire screeching.
It's the car like peeling out.
Yeah, and obviously, and I wanted it to be completely unrealistic how fast it happened.
Right.
Like the instant the door closes, the car screeches away. That was purposely unrealistic.
That's true, yeah.
She just somersaults into an open convertible and peels out.
Right, exactly.
Shoulder roll.
Oh my gosh. And then this little bit at the end with Dan was shot the same day we did the computer, him on the laptop. And I think he improvised most of it. I think I gave him. I definitely don't think anything was scripted. I think I just gave him an idea of what to say, and he just went on and did it. Because that's Dan. Remember, he's an improviser. Guys are all such great improvisers.
I can't remember.
So
he's go ahead, Ben.
I was going to ask: he's wearing the same costume as you wore to the party? Is this like supposed to be immediately after?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like midnight that night.
Okay.
Midnight,
that's right.
Middle of the day.
I totally forgot about this.
Well, this
come on, I'm sure
your PayPal
skills nowadays you can make it midnight.
This was before the Marvel movies came out, and people didn't always know to watch for something at the very end after the credits.
I love it. Well, speaking of improv, I remember, I think it was Steph gave me the line that I had a Kirk and Uhura doll, and sometimes they kiss.
They make out, yeah.
They make out. Gosh. It was Stephanie that came up with that.
I forgot about that.
You can barely hear it in the episode, but I'm like, sometimes they make out.
Yeah, I always felt bad that I gave you such a long speech, and then in the end, you hardly hear any of it.
Oh, but you can still hear that. And that was comic gold, a la Stephanie.
Well, you're welcome. I don't know. In the moment.
But this definitely is one of my favorite episodes. It's just so fun to have. I always talk about the show being sort of Friends with nerds. And there's one of my favorite episodes of Friends is they're all in just the one apartment, and Ross has some event they're supposed to all be going to, and it's all just about the shenanigans of them. Nobody wants to get dressed and get ready, and Ross is stressing out, and there's no big plot machination to it. It's just all of them interacting as characters, and that's really what I wanted to do with this episode in particular.
That's what it always reminds me of, that episode of Friends. Yeah. That's my favorite episode of Friends as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I really enjoyed this one because we all had so many places we could go in the house. Right. Like that we were all still in the same house, but I went upstairs and there was the little offshoot room, like laundry room or something, where we're in and there's the dining area and and the living room, and everyone's constantly in and out of those areas together, and it just felt like people who've known each other forever and hang out and don't have to be all in the living room watching the show, because
just natural.
They've all seen it by now together, and they know what happens, and it's just tradition that they're there.
Comfortable enough in parents' house because you're all friends, just to be wandering off, like for you to wander upstairs and take a phone call,
Yeah.
Like how many years had we had this little party?
I forget what it said.
Yeah. Well, all of the Oscars were won in 2004, and so this is 2012. So 6 or 7 years at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah.